a game under after their win yesterday over the Phillies. And the Brewers arrive from the National League Central inside Sun Life Stadium. Ryan Braun and the Brewers, a fearsome attack. Everybody wearing those Memorial Day hats on a holiday here at Sun Life Stadium. Hi everybody, Rich Walsh along with Tommy Hutton. Happy Memorial Day. It's a great tradition about baseball. Summer holidays, baseball's always included.
Rich, it's safe to say that I can tell you the last 46 years on Memorial Day, I've been at the ballpark.
It's also safe to say that this weekend, runs were at a premium when the Marlins faced the Phillies. And of course, Roy Halladay stole the headlines with the perfect game. But the three starters that the Marlins had in that series pitched quite well themselves.
If you break down the three starting assignments that the Marlins had in that series against the Phillies, they all very easily could have won games. Certainly Chris Voll said he's had a tough season. His ERA is respectable, low fours, and he's 3-6. He could have won that game. Of course, JJ gave up an unearned run. Certainly could have picked up his sixth win, but he lowered his ERA to 2.19. Anibal Sanchez has been a phenomenal month of May for him. 4-0 with a 1.93 ERA in the month of May. Hey, he could be the National League Pitcher of the Month.
Yes, he could. Today, on the hill for the Fish, Nate Robertson will go. Robertson has been dependable at 4-4 with a 4.05 ERA. However, Tommy Hutton, the lineup that he is facing are the Milwaukee Brewers. And the Milwaukee Brewers have always been known, you go back to the Harvey Wallbanger days, as a team that can score runs and hit it out of the ballpark, and this Milwaukee team is no exception.
No exception. They have some big boppers. They have a kind of an inconsistent lineup, but when they get hot, they can give you some trouble. Ricky Weeks can get on base. He can hit the ball, but he can also go deep. We know that Ryan Braun is a solid hitter, over 400 with runners in scoring position this year. How about Casey McGee? You ever heard of him? He leads the National League in RBIs with 41. Corey Hart has been on a tear. Had a 2-homer game the other night with 6 RBIs. Had a walk-off the night before. Prince Fielder, a little bit of a slow start, but over 400 on-base percentage. This guy can hit home runs. He's averaged about 40 over the last 3 or 4 years.
It's always good on a holiday to play a team whose nickname is the Beer Makers. And so it's the Brewers and the Marlins on a holiday. Fire up the grill. Ice down the beverages. Get ready for some Marlins baseball. Marlins and Brewers. We'll take a look at the Marlins bullpen, which had a nice weekend as well.
For the Marlins, they're starting to get the bullpen in order here. the difference the maker so far, maybe of late, has been the lefty Taylor Tankersley, which sets up the roles for the other guys even better.
Well, the starting pitching has been so outstanding so far this year for the Marlins. The hiccup and the problem have been in the bullpen. There's been some changes lately. Dan Meyer out, Taylor Tankersley in. You saw him. He's come in three games now and really shut the door and done his job, getting lefties out. Clay Hensley been outstanding all year. 8th inning is his. Leo Nunez has been outstanding at the close of the game. You saw yesterday, perfect 9th inning for his 10th save. Is that 10th save?
10th save, 2-0 in the year, 208. This is the weekend, including the Friday game against the Phillies. So the whole series. Look at that bullpen. 7 innings, no runs. And boy, that's got to make Freddie Gonzalez feel very good. And for the most part, Brian Sanchez has been very good in the 7th inning role as well. So those getting defined. And if the starters, if you just kind of put the two together here, Freddie hasn't really had a lefty to get lefties out all year. Now he's got Tank at least off to a good start with the other guys. You feel pretty good from a pitching standpoint.
Yeah, you looked at yesterday's game, and that was a perfectly constructed game as far as the pitching went for Freddie Gonzalez. Tankersley got one hitter. That's all he wanted him for. He comes in, gets one hitter. Clay Hensley got in a little bit of trouble. He had 2 base runners on in the 8th inning, but ends up striking out Worth. And then Leo comes in the back end with a 1-2-3 ninth.
They may need a bullpen in this series because the Brewers are one of the best hitting teams in the National League. Game 1 of this 4-game series coming at you next. The Brew Crew coming off a good homestand. They won 4 out of 6. The Marlins still have a shot to make it a winning homestand. 2-4 with 4 to go. Game 1 of the series on Memorial Day is up next.
Checkers, little place, big taste. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. By Toyota, moving forward. By the Florida Department of Transportation. Drunk driving, over the limit, under arrest. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Glad you are with us on this holiday weekend, which comes to a close here in the afternoon with some baseball at Sun Life Stadium. The Marlins and the Brewers. The Brewers come in having won 5 of 7. Still, they're 8 under. But, man, can they hit. Ricky Weeks leads it off. And it's Carlos Gomez who's in center field. Ryan Braun in left. Prince Fielder at first. Casey McGee at third. Corey Hart, as Tommy told you, had a big weekend. 12 homers in so far. 5 of his last 9 hits have gone out of the ballpark. Alcides Escobar is an exciting young Venezuelan shortstop. George Kataris is the catcher. Chris Narveson will hit 9th.
Well, it's a lineup that the left-hander, veteran left-hander Nate Robertson is going to deal with. Not a lot of history with Nate and the Milwaukee Brewers. Just a couple of games, one start, a little over 7 innings, and the start was back in '06. But always for Nate to have success, work both sides of the plate. We have actually similar left-handers. They each need to do the same thing. Chris Narveson, who's pitching for Milwaukee, work both sides of the plate, change speeds a little bit, and Nate will do okay. See how the defense sets up on this sunny Memorial Day afternoon. Coughlin, Maben, and Cody Ross in that outfield. Jorge Cantu moves back over to third with Hanley and Ugla up the middle. Gabby at first base, and Ronnie Paulino has been in there a lot behind the plate, certainly against the left-hander Narveson.
The Cheeseheads are here, and that actually makes a nice cover from the blazing hot sun.
Don't let that cheese melt.
No. Nate Robertson facing Ricky Weeks to open things up, and Weeks takes a fastball for a strike. Weeks pumped a couple out of the park yesterday, a 2-homer day, and he has hit 8 this year. And he goes after that fastball and pops it up. Ugla. He is calling. What do you think of the new lids everyone's wearing today, Tommy?
I like them.
On Memorial Day.
I like them. I like the look. Everybody around baseball, you know, we were talking about tradition. There are 4 teams who aren't playing today. Boston, Baltimore, the White Sox, and the Rangers.
Robertson gets it out. And now Carlos Gomez, the young center fielder for the Brewers. Gomez is only 24. He was a prospect in the Mets organization coming up, if you remember that name. It's a low strike. Then he was traded to Minnesota in the Johan Santana trade. The Brewers got him when they sent J.J. Hardy, their old shortstop, to the Twins.
So he's actually been involved in some very interesting trades.
Yes, he has been. He played with the Twins last year and did not have a good year. Hit just .229 in 137 games. And we've seen Robertson right away, Tommy, the pattern that when Nate is on, he's pounding the strike zone. He's aggressive with his stuff. Cutters going in.
Cutters to tie up the right-handers, and Gomez certainly an aggressive hitter.
He bunts with 2 strikes, and he gets a base hit. What a gutsy move by Carlos Gomez. A 2-strike bunt, surprising everybody.
Well, that's one you just have to tip your cap and give it to him. All he needs to do is get it down on the ground. No chance at all for Nate Robertson, so a bunt single for Gomez, a 2-strike bunt single. If you foul that ball off, you're out. So, yeah, gutsy play on his part.
Fox Exmo showing you the replay. Here's Prince Fielder with Ryan Braun behind him, and Robertson goes over to first. Gomez has 6 stolen bases.
He's a guy that, having been a prospect in different organizations, compiled a lot of stolen bases. Gomez did in the minor leagues.
If you want to go back into his bio, you find his single-A season in 2005. He stole 64 bases. There's a look at Prince Fielder. The big bopper for the Brewers really has yet to get hot this year. Robertson throws a strike. Ken Maka has been tinkering with the lineup for the Brewers. He had Ryan Braun hitting in front of Fielder in yesterday's ball game. This is his 2nd season at the helm of the Brewers. 80 and 82 were the Brewers last year in his first year.
Ken Maka, a lot of success in his 4 years as the Oakland manager.
Yeah, a lot of people were stunned when he was fired after winning 96, 91, 88, and 93 games in Oakland. 2 AL West titles in there. Counts 1-2 to Fielder. He, of course, grew up in the Orlando area. And his father, an all-star, Cecil Fielder.
Prince has been an all-star a couple of times himself.
Oh, he's had incredible numbers in Milwaukee. He drove in 141 runs last year. That was tops in baseball. 46 homers, 35 doubles. And he was the only major leaguer to play in every game last year. He played in all 162.
He hasn't missed one this year either.
Maben on patrol is out there and makes the catch. And it brings up a guy that certainly has local ties and plenty of fans here in Miami. And that's Ryan Braun, who played at the University of Miami. A Southern California kid. He fit in nicely down at the University of Miami. And he's been tearing it up ever since he got to the big leagues. He led the National League in hits last year with 203 of them.
Yeah, you're right about tearing it up since his arrival as Rookie of the Year in 07. I think he's gotten better in left field. He was a kind of player they needed to find a position for him. Left field is where he has settled in.
Very similar to Chris Coughlin in his progression. Braun came up as an infielder, but struggled defensively at third, and then has become a very adequate left fielder.
The Marlins have Ronnie Paulino. The Brewers have Ryan Braun. Last year he hit .395 against lefties.
Ball and a strike. You hear Bill Miller calling balls and strikes. A new crew in here. Chad Fairchild, Mike Riley, and Eric Cooper out on the bases. Ball and 2 strikes on Ryan Braun. These Brewers took 2 of 3 from the Mets, but lost yesterday 10-4. They come off a 3-game series against Houston in which they took 2 of 3. And so they've won 5 of their last 7.
Yeah, and kind of a synopsis of their season. Their bullpen gave up 8 runs yesterday.
Gomez on the move, and Braun knocks it in the gap, and he's going to knock in a run. Gomez will score, and Ryan Braun with his 16th double of the season, RBI number 33.
You talked about all the hits for Braun last year. He's second in the National League in hits this year. And that was kind of a good matchup. We mentioned his numbers against lefties last season. This year, Nate Robertson has held left-handed batters to 162, but righties have hit 281. Though the right-handed bat of Braun smokes that ball. He wins that battle with a good swing.
Casey McGee now. Robertson, a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Making a name for himself. Had a solid year last year. Was 5th in the Rookie of the Year voting. 16 homers, 66 runs driven in. Played in 116 games. Great catch by a fan. Draws some applause.
Here's a guy that really didn't get much of an opportunity with the Cubs organization. He was claimed off waivers.
Absolutely
by the Brewers.
Cubs drafted him out of Fresno State back in 2003. Sends that one to right center. Maben out there, makes the catch, and the inning over. A 2-strike bunt by Gomez and a double by Braun. Now the Brewers have a run. The Marlins try to answer with this lineup. Chris Coghlan leads it off. Gabby Sanchez at first. Hanley Ramirez, the shortstop for the Fish. Jorge Cantu is at third base. Dan Uggla at second. Cody Ross in right. Ronnie Paulino, the catcher. Maven in center. And Nate Robertson hits ninth. Hanley always seems to do well against the National League Central.
Well, you can see the numbers on Narveson. He has started 6 of the 15 games. He spent most of the year last year in AAA in Nashville, so getting a shot all year this year, not overpowering. Can be a little tough on lefties with that kind of three-quarter delivery that he has.
Narveson is 28, out of Asheville, North Carolina, and he played at the same high school as Cameron Maben, T.C. Roberson High School in Asheville. 0-2 on Coghlan. Big breaking ball is outside.
You can see how that delivery could be tough against lefties. That's why lefties are only hitting 185 against him this year.
Coghlan lines it to center field. Gomez is there and makes the catch.
Well, we'll check on the defense for the Brewers. There's Ryan Braun, Carlos Gomez, and Corey Hart in the outfield. McGee, Escobar, Weeks, and Fielder around the infield. Prince Fielder's played 235 consecutive games right now, and George Kataris behind the plate.
Sanchez. Gabby had the day off yesterday against Jamie Moyer. Wes Helms got a start. Phillies didn't score a lot of runs this weekend. Marlins didn't score a lot of runs this weekend.
Weren't a lot of people crossing the plate in that series.
Narveson misses down low.
Phillies are underway in Atlanta this afternoon.
Pulls that 1-1 pitch. McGee. And there are 2 outs. Let's scout Chris Narveson.
Well, we've told you a little bit about him. He has good command generally, the big slow curve. And Rich earlier mentioned all the games in the minor leagues. So here's a guy who it's taken him a while to get here with a lot of experience, a lot of games, a lot of innings in the minor leagues.
7 years in the minors before he got his first taste of the big leagues. 5 games with St. Louis in 2006. And then 3 more years in the minors until the Brewers called him up last year. And he made 4 starts and 17 relief appearances. This is his 4th different organization. Actually, his 5th different organization, as he's hopscotched from St. Louis to Colorado to Boston. St. Louis got him back again. Milwaukee signed him as a free agent. Misses to Hanley, and it's 2-0. But the Brewers are desperate for starting pitching. Jeff Suppan, who was supposed to be one of the anchors of their rotation, has flamed out and has even struggled in the bullpen.
Well, Suppan in that game yesterday against the Mets, an inning and 2/3, gave up 6 hits and 4 runs. His ERA is over 7.
Doug Davis right now on the disabled list with inflammation of the lining around his heart. Hanley on a hop out to Escobar. And Chris Narveson goes 1-2-3 through the Fish in the first. Marlins Super Saturday, a Baker Concrete Super Saturday on the 19th, a merengue concert with Sergio Vargas and Millie Quezada following a fireworks spectacular, all presented by the Dominican Republic Ministry of Tourism. Marlins and Rays that night at 7:10. Nate Robertson gets a look at Corey Hart, Alcides Escobar, and George Kataris. 0-2 on the aggressive Hart.
You know, a guy the Brewers have on the disabled list, I believe he's coming off tomorrow, is Jim Edmonds, veteran outfielder who actually did not play all of last year. He retired. And Hart was kind of platooning a little bit, but Hart's won his way in that lineup. Edmonds just going to be more in a platoon situation, I think, now.
Yeah, Hart had the big weekend, as you described. And he rips that one foul. He had the walk-off homer on a Friday night, and then a grand slam and a two-run homer on Saturday. So you look at his numbers, he's got a dozen homers, and he's driven in 31 runs. 9 homers in his last 15 games. Left field, they want to add one to that total. Wow. How about 10 homers in his last 16 or his last 20 games? There you go. Corey Hart.
Oh, all of a sudden, Corey Hart leads the National League now in home runs.
He passes Dan Uggla and Kelly Johnson on that list.
Boy, he is hot. You look at his numbers in his career. He got a fastball out over the plate. The most he's ever hit in a season's 24. Did that a few years ago in 07.
Actually, Albert Pujols now has a dozen. Mark Reynolds has a dozen. But Corey Hart is on top of the pile now at 13.
Yeah, Albert helped his cause yesterday in Chicago with 3.
Here's Escobar, 23-year-old Venezuelan shortstop. Guy that Baseball America called Milwaukee's top prospect as he was coming up in the organization. Rolls one out to Hanley. He fires to first. And there's one out. The Milwaukee Brewers can score runs. There is no question about that. They are first in the National League in home runs hit, second in doubles, second in slugging percentage. And Corey Hart may be the hottest hitter outside of Albert Pujols right now. Ball is smacked to right by Kataris. And Cody kicks it, but then picks it up. And Kataris quickly retreats to first base.
Rich, to show you the sporadic inconsistencies, though, their offenses had, they had a 3-game series in Pittsburgh. They won all 3 games. They outscored the Pirates 36-1 in that 3-game series. Then they went home and they played the Cubs, and the Cubs outscored them 25-4. So Ken Maka was telling me they've just been very inconsistent with that offense.
Narveson with one out can try to bunt Kataris up and get Weeks up there with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Narveson actually has 4 hits this year in 11 at-bats. He spent the first month out of the bullpen. It wasn't until he got around May that they put him in the rotation.
Marlins need a win here to stay above 500 for the month of May. Come into this game 14-14.
There's the bunt. Robertson picks it up, flips on over to first. So the sacrifice works for the Brewers, and now Weeks, who has driven in 28 runs out of the leadoff spot and is a dangerous hitter, a hot guy. He hit 2 homers yesterday. He comes up.
There's been no problem for Nate throwing strikes. He's 9 out of 9 in first pitch strikes, and he's thrown 27 pitches, and 24 have been in the strike zone. But the one to Corey Hart was right out over the plate.
Weeks tries to check his swing, and he does. It's the Weeks brothers out of the Orlando area, Lake Brantley High School. Jameel Weeks, who was a top draft pick of Oakland, is doing quite well in Double-A this year. Former Miami Hurricane is hitting over 300, playing in Midland, Texas. And Ricky drives one into left field. That's a base hit. Coughlin up with it. That's going to score another run. Kataris comes across. Weeks has an RBI hit. And the Brewers are teeing off right now on Nate Robertson.
Well, he's throwing strikes, but so far not quality strikes. Out over the plate, Weeks loves to hit balls when they're out over the plate. And I'll tell you what, he's hitting over 360 in his last 6 games, so he's gotten on a little bit of a tear. He's one of those leadoff guys that can give you a little of everything. He can steal bases. He can hit home runs.
Here's Gomez. It sounds simple, but it was a key play back in the first inning. Robertson got the first out, and Carlos Gomez was at the plate. The count was 0-2, and the last thing you expect at 0-2 is a little drag bunt, and that's exactly what he did. With a 2-strike count, he dropped it down for a hit. Ryan Braun would knock him in with an RBI double, and the Brewers were on their way.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that all year.
Chopper towards Hanley. Off to Ugla, a little offline, but in time to get the out. But Milwaukee adds 2. Another long ball. Corey Hart, 10 homers, last 16 games. 20 RBIs in that span.
Game against the Mets.
You know, I've seen pitchers on the mound with scouting reports in their back pockets. I don't know that I've ever seen an outfielder with a scouting report in his back pocket.
Well, the Marlins don't see the Brewers a whole lot. Certainly don't see them in spring training.
Unless that was like the itinerary for the trip and he was just checking the bus time for tomorrow.
Or he was checking what restaurant to make reservations at tonight.
Cantu goes after a high fastball, and it's 1-2. Cantu, Ugla, Ross against Narveson. Narveson appears to be one of those guys, Tommy, where if you're a right-handed hitter and you try to pull the ball, it's going to be a lot of ground balls to third and short.
Yeah, that's the general game plan. When you face a lefty who's not a 95-mile-an-hour thrower, he's going to cut it. He's going to turn it over a little bit away from you. And if you try to pull him, you'd get in trouble. He's gotten to 89. That's about his best fastball. And he went upstairs and got Jorge Cantu to chase that one. They stayed up in the entire at bat, so obviously their game plan to pitch to Jorge Cantu is keep the ball up with hard stuff.
Fox Tracks brought to you by Toyota. He didn't throw a strike in that whole at bat. Cantu went out of the zone, and here is Ugla. That one was right down the middle. Ugla, then Ross. Dan yesterday was 1 for 3 with a walk. I think Narveson, it appears, is throwing harder or has a little more on his fastball than the Marlins have expected. Certainly much more on his fastball than the Marlins saw from Jamie Moyer.
I think the big test will be to see how the approach is the second time around against Narveson, because his delivery could throw you off a little bit that first time. Fastball may get in on you a little harder than you expect.
One-two came in on Ugla. It stays 1-2. The Marlins and the Phillies didn't score a lot of runs this weekend, and they both find themselves in the exact same spot right now. In Atlanta, the Phillies are down 3-0 in the bottom of the second, and here the Marlins are down 3-0 in the bottom of the second. Ugla pulls it. Diving stop, McGee. Not in time. Ugla beats it out for a base hit. That's a tremendous play by Casey McGee. Ugla's got himself an infield hit.
One of the things that the Marlins really have to stay with, Fox Expo shows you that attempt by Casey McGee, is their approach. Because if you think about it, they hit some balls pretty hard in the game yesterday against the Phillies, but had nothing to show for it. This ball hit hard, and he almost gets robbed up the line as quickly as he can, and he beats it out for an infield base hit. So I think they have to stay with the same approach. They hit some balls pretty well yesterday against Jamie Moyer.
Cody Ross 0 for 3 against Moyer yesterday. Ball in the dirt. Contreras knocks it down. Brewers have lost their everyday catcher, Greg Zahn, having shoulder issues, and he may be out for more than just the 15 days. He's on the 15-day DL.
Yeah, it might be a while.
So they've got a couple of young catchers. They had in camp Matt Trainer, and the Brewers really liked the camp that Trainer had. And I think if Ken Maka could see into the future, they would have done the best that they could to hang on to him, because on national TV last night there was Trainer catching for the Texas Rangers.
Well, the idea of signing Greg Zahn, who's 39, 40 years old, was to have that veteran catcher work with the pitching staff. And you're right, had they known that, they would have liked the veteran catcher Matt Trainer calling pitches for a staff that needs help from their catcher.
One and two on Ross. Cody has yet to have that really red-hot streak where he pumps 5-6 balls out of the park in a week. He does have 13 doubles, one of the top numbers for the Marlins. Jorge Cantu with 14 leads the team.
A couple of Marlins have improved, I think, this year in hitting against lefties. Dan Ugla and Cody Ross both that came into this game with averages over 300 against lefties. And it's odd that I say that, because you would expect both of those guys to hit left-handers pretty well.
But they had not really in their careers.
And the downside to that is Hanley's really struggled against left-handers this year. Hanley hitting a little over 220.
There's always something when you're a hitting coach. You're always juggling a couple of different guys. Some guys get hot, and at the same time, other guys cool off. Well, Narveson is looking to get outs up in the zone.
Yeah. Never has a hitting coach come to the ballpark and just kind of relax and say, yeah, all my guys are locked in. And no hitting coach works any harder, I think, than Jim Presley, who's always there for his hitters.
2-2.
Ninth pitch coming up to Cody.
Ugla has one stolen base this year. Marlins down 3-0. A Corey Hart home run. RBI double by Ryan Braun. RBI single by Ricky Weeks. And a changeup gets Cody Ross.
He hasn't used that particular pitch a lot, but we know it's in his arsenal. He's been going up with fastballs. He pulls the string. Good pitch. Has Cody well out in front.
Paulino takes a lollipop curveball for a strike.
Yeah, you've seen all of his pitches now. That slow curveball, the changeup, and the fastball.
Ronnie's base hit against Jamie Moyer produced the only run of yesterday's game. And Paulino usually has been the Marlins flag bearer when it comes to hitting left-handed pitching. 340 at the start of play. Muscles one into right field, a base hit. Ugla turns second. Hart has a good arm, and he airs one out. Paulino's at first. Ugla's at third. And here comes Maben.
Well, he couldn't really formulate the same game plan he had against Jamie Moyer because he's not faced this guy before, but still doesn't matter. Lefty arm, righty batter, Ronnie Paulino usually produces base hits.
So now here is Maben, and two guys from Asheville, North Carolina will meet. Both out of T.C. Roberson High School. Narveson is 5 years older than Maben. And I suspect these two have met in the minor leagues. As much minor league time as Narveson has had. Maybe takes high.
And then you look at a guy like Narveson, having just seen Jamie Moyer. Narveson's 28. You go, man, if he puts it together,
he could have a great career.
He could win 200 games.
Maben hits a ground ball to McGee at third. Gets the out at second. Marlins leave a couple and trail the Brewers by 3. Nate Robertson has given up 3 runs in the first 2 innings on 5 hits. A couple of extra base hits. A Braun double, a Hart homer. Here is Prince Fielder with Ryan Braun and Casey McGee behind him.
One of the talks around Milwaukee is, will Prince Fielder be wearing a Brewers uniform next year?
Yeah, especially with the signing by Ryan Howard. The price tag for slugging first baseman just went up.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good resume.
Yes, he does. A good track record. I think a lot of people early in his career were interested to see if his body type and his weight would be an issue. But you know what? He just keeps hitting and hitting. He's a good athlete. He's not a tall man, but he is a big man, and he moves well for a big man. He's 5'11", 270.
He's a better first baseman than Ryan Howard.
Yes. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, thank you very much, Rich and Tommy. They've played together, but for the first time as major leaguers, they're playing against each other today. Talking about Ryan Braun, who is batting now, and Gabby Sanchez. They met at freshman orientation at the University of Miami. They were roommates junior year. In fact, they stayed in the brother of Gabby's apartment, Rem, who owned the apartment in Miami. And Gabby said he's talked to Ryan over the years, and Ryan always told him, hey, stick with it. You're going to get here. You're going to make it to the big leagues. And here they are today. He said most of the time, though, when we talk now, it's not about baseball stuff, life, family, that kind of thing. But it's certainly neat. Although Gabby says, I do not see him today coming around the bases at all, at least defensively.
Well, he didn't stop at first on his double, that's for sure. Hanley whips it across in time. And there's no time for conversation there either. On a double play, 4-6-3.
Yeah, you want to have that conversation before the game or after the game, maybe over dinner. Nicely turned. It was a little disjointed on the double play. Uggs had to back up. Hanley was able to get a strong throw, though, just to get Ryan Braun. You have to back up to play that big hop, and then the backhand flip over to Hanley. Boy, that's pretty.
Here's McGee. Casey McGee grew up in the Santa Cruz area in California.
And so he was right at home at Fresno State.
Yes, he was. And then went on to star for the Bulldogs at Fresno State. It's a nice inning for Robertson. An 8-pitch inning. Marlins go to work in the bottom of the 3rd. Out 7, 3 hits, did not give up a run. He is 4-0 with an ERA of under 2 in the month of May. As Chris Narveson throws a strike to Nate Robertson.
Yeah, there will be the the popular pick of Ubaldo Jimenez. By the way, talk about pitching matchups. I was thinking about this the other day when Halladay matched up against Josh Johnson. I always like to look at the matchups and see which one would be the best. And I was saying, oh, the best one's right here. And it turned out that way. But the best pitching matchup today, as far as top-notch starters, Ubaldo Jimenez, who's 9-1 and an 0.88 ERA, takes on the Giants in San Francisco and Tim Lincecum,
who has struggled in his last few starts. Our Geico quote of the day: "I just want to win. I don't care how." On yesterday's 1-0 victory over Philadelphia.
Yeah, I loved what Freddie said. Freddie said, yeah, the night before was a perfect win. Perfect game for Roy Halladay. The game yesterday, a win, maybe not so perfect, but he'll take it.
5-2 with a 2.89 ERA in 10 starts. He's Anibal Sanchez. So his ERA is down. Josh Johnson, after his start on that perfect game night, has an ERA of 2.19. And the Marlins' issues have certainly not been starting pitching, that's for sure. Coughlin lined to center.
Well, overall, including bullpen work, the Marlins stand at 7th in the National League in pitching in ERA.
And when fouled at the plate, the Marlins starters on the season have allowed the second fewest home runs in the National League, tied with Colorado. In fact, there's a couple of streaks going into this series by both pitching staffs. One, the relief corps, and one, the starting staff. Coughlin, a sharp ground ball. He's hit it hard again twice today. Right to Ricky Weeks. And there's 2 outs. It's your chance to lock in priority seating in the new Marlins ballpark. Become a Marlins season ticket holder in 2010. Reserve your spot in line. Seat selection in the new Marlins Park begins this year for current season ticket holders. 1-877-MARLINS. The Brewers' starting pitchers have not allowed a home run in 14 games, which is a franchise record coming into this ball game. The Marlins bullpen has gone 20 games without allowing a home run, their longest stretch since a club record set last year of 21 games. So the Marlins pen hasn't coughed up a home run in a long time, and the Brewers starters, believe it or not, as bad as they've been, haven't given up a long ball. Last 11 days, Brewers have given up just 2 homers, period, starters and relievers.
And then you kind of look into the overall numbers and break it down. The relievers for Milwaukee, their ERAs just under 6. And we told you the Marlins starting staff has won 21 games. The Brewers starters have won 14. So the Marlins overall, 5 starters have been pretty solid.
Gabby Sanchez says he's foul tipped it. And you could hear Bill Miller said, I didn't hear it. Here comes Freddie. And the inning is over. up the fish. And here's one hot Brewer in Corey Hart. He homered in the second. He had homers in 3 consecutive at-bats, going from the Friday night walk-off to the 2 balls that he hit out on Saturday, one being a grand slam.
And you use the term tying up, and that's how you have to pitch him. He has that big swing. He's a tall guy, long swing at times, and you need to tie him up. You need to really bust him inside.
Time now for our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Boy, that looks good on a hot afternoon. Corey Hart. This was home run number 13 to take the National League lead. And he went around, and he is tagged out by Ronnie Paulino. Yeah, between innings, Tommy, we went back and listened and watched for the Gabby Sanchez swing, and it's impossible to tell whether he tipped it or not from replay. Even on sound, you couldn't tell.
Sound, we had Fox Exmo, we had everything, and you still can't tell. And so the only thing that Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, is going on is sound. And we could hear him tell Gabby and also Freddie that I didn't hear it.
And you heard on that replay, actually, a replay of the sound as well. You could hear the ball hit the glove, but you couldn't hear anything off the bat. That's going to stay foul. Alcides Escobar. Brewers are testing Jorge Cantu and Nate Robertson. They have bunted for a base hit, and Escobar tried to drop one down there. That's advanced scouting. That's something that somebody has seen along the way.
Escobar, one of those young hitters. He's not going to strike out a lot. He's not going to walk a lot. He usually puts the ball in play, only 22 strikeouts and 11 walks all year.
Escobar fouls that ball off. J.J. Hardy was a fixture at shortstop for a long time in Milwaukee.
They sent J.J. Hardy on his way to Minnesota.
Brewers have been to Minnesota. We were told that the ballpark, just the report from Brian Anderson, their TV play-by-play announcer, the report on the ballpark in Minneapolis, spectacular. Many of you baseball fans, I'm sure, saw it last night on the Sunday night game with the Rangers in town to take on the Twins.
Little difference in the way the ball carries, dimensions, because there were a couple of balls that they were talking about had a good chance to have been out at the Metrodome that did not go out last night. But it looked beautiful.
Escobar strikes out.
And I know a few Marlins executives went up for the opening day this year, the new ballpark in Minnesota.
Yeah, because that's the last park to open before the Marlins park opens. And the Twins were nice enough to invite Marlin executives up to look at that park and see what an opening day of a new ballpark is all about.
By the way, great pitch to strike out Escobar, that breaking ball down and in.
George Kataris takes down low.
I think opening a new ballpark and you try your best to work out all the kinks. It's like opening up a new restaurant. You really hate to judge it on its first couple of weeks or so. You want to give it a chance to kind of break in and get everything working. I know the Marlins will do everything in their possibility to get it going to perfection on opening day in 2012.
But you want the chef to have a few reps, though, right?
Yeah.
Robertson misses down low. Three-two coming. Struck him out. Struck out the side in the fourth. Now the Marlins need to get the bats going. They trail the Brewers here on a hot, sunny afternoon. Nate Robertson strikes. 3G network, AT&T. Rethink possible. And by South Florida Ford. Visit southfloridaford.com for great offers. Fish and Brewers, 3-0 Milwaukee. Second time through for everybody against Chris Narveson, who was allowed just 2 singles, an ugly infield hit, and a Paulino jam shot. Hanley goes after the first pitch and sends it into the seats. It's 0-1. Phillies are still having trouble scoring runs themselves. Bottom of the third in Atlanta, 3-0 Braves.
That would be Tommy Hanson, the young right-hander on the mound for the Braves.
One to Hanley. He was trying to explain to some of the Brewer folks about the Marlins offensively. Hanley rolls it in the hole. Escobar, long throw. Fielder picked it. That's a nice. Well, wait a minute. Dropped it. Lost it from my view, but there it is. Plain as day, sitting in front of him.
Well, that ball took the shortstop, the young shortstop, Escobar, deep into the hole on the grass, 3 or 4 steps. His throw a little in between. Not a bad one to get, though, when it skips off that grass. Prince Fielder just couldn't handle it, and Hanley was able to get himself to first base. And we'll see if it's a base hit or an error. And it's an error, 6.
Hanley is picked off and thrown out.
And how can you have that happen when you're trailing by 3 runs?
So the Marlins get a base runner to lead off the 4th. And right away, he's picked off.
Well, a good throw by Prince Fielder. A lot of times when you go on first movement, you take a chance at that first baseman. That's a good play to do when you have Ryan Howard over there. He has really a lot of trouble throwing. But Prince Fielder, as we mentioned, a solid first baseman.
Escobar is going to get charged with an error on the ball that Hanley hit. Cantu fouls it back.
And I think when you're down 3-0, you just can't use that first movement play because you're always taking a chance that the first baseman's going to make a good throw. I know Hanley wants to get himself running a little bit more. He talked the other day about maybe being in better running shape. And maybe stealing more bases.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Jorge Cantu. He struck out back in the second. He went after a high fastball that was up and out of the zone.
Yeah, remember all the pitches were up and out of the zone. See if he goes up there after that curveball. Here it is. They wanted it up. You could see the catcher, Taras, put his mitt up. He wanted that fastball up a little bit. And again, staying up. That one pitch, number 4, was the big curveball.
Another big curveball. And the count stays at 2-2. Dave Bush, Ricky Nolasco will pitch on Tuesday night. Giovanni Gallardo, the best that the Brewers have going, gets Chris Volstad on Wednesday night. Chris Capuano, a lefty who's been in their bullpen, will face Josh Johnson on Thursday night.
Originally scheduled was the lefty Manny Parra. The Marlins have seen Capuano over the years.
Narveson's the type of guy that has a tendency to get that pitch count up. He made a start on the 15th of May, and he went 5 2/3 innings and threw 130 pitches in 5 2/3 innings. Lost that ball game. And he strikes out Cantu for the second time. So there's 2 outs here in the 4th. AT&T trivia question. Let's flip the phone. See if it has anything to do with racing sausages. No, not this time. Who holds the Marlins record for hits in a month?
Well, I think we know that.
You don't think Chris Coughlin last year?
I think your memory doesn't have to be too long on this one, I don't think. Talk about pitch counts. How about yesterday, Max Scherzer with the Detroit, just 5 2/3 innings, 113 pitches, but not even as many as Narveson. However, in his 5 2/3 innings, he struck out 13.
Hard thrower. Of course, he was.
14.
He was brought over from Arizona. They made the trade to get him.
So 14 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings.
2-1 to Ugla. Daniel had a rip at that fastball. Well, that pitch count by Narveson of 130 pitches is the second highest pitch count this year by a starter. The highest, Roy Halladay. His start before his perfect game, 132. Ugla goes down. Boy, Narveson has been sharp through his 4 innings. On top. Nate Robertson faces Chris Narveson. Both lefty starters meeting here, and Robertson put his bare hand out, knocked it down. That was a ball that possibly Dan Ugla may have had a play on, and it ends up as a base hit. Time now for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. And it's been Narveson who's given the Brewers the edge. You too can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard.
Well, 6 strikeouts, no walks. He's given up just the 2 base hits. Neither hit that hard. Dan Ugla's hit the hardest in the infield. So now maybe with Narveson getting that infield base hit, you can wear him down out on the bases in the hot sun.
Weeks, Gomez, and Fielder top of the order now for the Brewers.
Hey, Narveson 5 for 12 this year as a hitter.
Early leader for Silver Slugger Award. Got to drive in a few runs, hit a couple homers though.
Have to show a little production.
Weeks pops it up. Gabby makes the catch. Now it's on to Gomez and then Fielder.
Number 27, secondary, Gomez.
Interesting, the Brewers who play in a beautiful ballpark. Miller Park is a nice ballpark. Retractable dome. But they have not played well at home as Cameron takes care of that fly ball.
They're better on the road.
Yeah, they're 13-13 on the road. They're only 8-16 at home.
Last year, 80-82. They're a little over a season and 2 months removed from a playoff spot back in 2008. Remember, they won the wild card with some help from the Marlins. The Marlins beating the Mets on the last day when the Brewers won. And the Brewers won the wild card in 08. And it was Milwaukee's first postseason since 1982. They lost to the Phillies in the division series. Fielder gets tied up. Ugla fighting. The sun doesn't see it. Cody does. Look at Ugla. He's like, thank goodness Cody was there.
Thanks, Cody. That.
At 47 in both August and September.
In 2 months. And certainly carried him on his way to Rookie of the Year. You know, a lot different this year. Struggles, hitting the ball well, but at people at times. Here's one of those National League decisions as far as a pitcher. If you're in the American League, you wouldn't even think about getting anybody up because Nate Robertson has settled in nicely the last 3 innings. Had some low pitch innings. He's only thrown 65 pitches.
But he's due up 4th this inning. So if you get somebody on, you got a chance to score a run. You're going to have to do it. Sosa is up.
So you have to at least get somebody started. Now, I wouldn't imagine unless the Marlins get something going and Freddie has a chance with a couple of men on base.
He won't really heat up.
No, he won't.
Well, the Marlins can't touch Chris Narveson right now. It's 7 strikeouts. We check in with Craig.
Rich, maybe they'll have to turn to Ronnie Paulino, who's done so well against left-handers as he comes up to plate. Paulino now in his 28th game. Last year he was in just less than half the games, but obviously since Baker's gone down, he's been the #1 guy for the Marlins with Brett Hayes getting spot starts. And I was talking to Jim Presley about him. He told him a few things. One is, he said, use your batting practice now that you're the everyday guy to get loose for the game. After that first group where the catchers hit, the second group they do some defensive work in the cage. So make sure you get your rest. When you're playing in this kind of heat every day, it really can wear on the catches. So rest, eat well, and use that batting practice. Maybe if you didn't do that with a spot start in the past, that's your get-loose time because you need some extra rest before the game when you're playing virtually every day. He's done a great job so far, guys. Maybe even in a quiet way, gets the game-winning hit yesterday, but you still don't hear a lot about Roddy Polino. He's been terrific.
Yeah, the eat well part, I think he has down in his career.
Hey, maintain that weight. That's not a problem in South Florida.
Yeah,
because you need to.
He is a very pleasant surprise, and against lefties, has been outstanding. He started to hit righties. Playing every day as a catcher is a whole different animal from any other position on the diamond. Wow. Chris Narveson with 8 strikeouts. His career high is 10. He actually struck out 10 Chicago Cubs last September. But he goes upstairs and he changes your eye level. He goes upstairs with fastballs and then has that slow breaking ball and also the changeup. And when you see the slow curve and the changeup, it's hard to stay away from that high fastball. High fastball to Maben. Then a changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So now he's got him in a position. He may go curveball down. He may go up with a fastball.
Maben on the homestand, just 2 for 16. Almost sounds like we have Bill Miller mic'd up, the home plate umpire.
Yeah, not many 3-ball counts for Chris Narveson. As a matter of fact, that's number 1. So he has stayed away from getting deep into counts to hitters. He's gotten ahead all day.
This will be pitch number 80. You can see Nate on deck. Robertson actually at 65 pitches. Maben fouls it back.
One of the best pitches that Halladay threw the other night. Here's a guy, he had a perfect game. I think it was the 7th or 8th inning. He threw a 3-2 breaking ball to, I think it was Gabby. Got him out.
Missed.
Tell you what, didn't miss by much, but give Cameron Maben credit for not going after that fastball that was a little up.
And here is Robertson now.
I think if the Marlins had a couple of men on, we would have seen a pinch hitter. But in this case, Freddie sees that Nate has been throwing the ball well. Got a chance to get a couple of innings more out of him. And the other thing I think that fans forget, there's no guarantee that who you send up there is going to get a hit.
Robertson rolls it out to short. Escobar on to first in time. So Nate Robertson will come out and pitch the 6th. All Brewers all day. in Spanish.
Queso is cheese.
Cabeza de queso.
Cabeza de queso.
Cabeza de queso. Yeah, I like that.
As long as it doesn't melt, you're okay.
Cookie, any memorable Memorial Days for you? I know you've been like me pretty much every Memorial Day at a ballpark.
Well, I'll tell you, my memorial is my mind. My mind is gone after so many years, you know. That's my memorial right now.
You need some ginkgo biloba.
It's been great games in the National League, of course, you know, in the past, you know, when we faced Sandy Koufax and Jim Bonning pitching, and there was great moments in those years.
I don't remember if it was Memorial Day or 4th of July, but to me, the one that I'll never forget was when Frank Pulley had to use the camera as a replay.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
and that was odd, just completely
he
odd.
got a slap on the wrist for that, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but he was a pioneer.
That's right.
Robertson misses outside. Cookie, what about Milwaukee? Any memories of County Stadium in Milwaukee?
Well, there were so many of them. You know, I remember Willie Mays hitting 4 home runs in that ballpark with the Giants, if you remember that, going way back. Mm-hmm. And we had great battles over there in Milwaukee.
They had some good hitters, didn't they, Cookie?
They sure did in those years, no question about it.
Ryan Braun.
But looking at this ball club here, you know, they have great hitters here, and they have a lot of good speed. And if they get any kind of pitching, this club is going to be running for a playoff spot.
All right, guys, have a good show.
Thank you, guys. You too.
You know, speaking of speed, you have to be careful. Ryan Braun with 11 stolen bases, leads their club in stolen bases.
So Robertson is out to pitch the 6th, and this, who knows if he can get through this one quickly, might be able to continue on. Casey McGee is 0 for 2, and he takes outside. Twice he has flied out, and Braun certainly thinking about running at first with a 3-0 lead.
The other thing about a game, when you're managing a game, you get the feel of how the game is going. And right now, the feel is it's going to be tough to score, so you have to make sure you don't give up any more. So Freddie has to be careful, and that's why it looks like he has Sosa up again in the bullpen. He doesn't want the Brewers to add on and score more because his club hasn't scored any yet off Narveson.
Is it you, Dale? Is it you?
Bill Miller asking, is it you, Dale? And he's talking about the hitting coach of the Brewers, Dale Swaim.
Last time.
See, Dale Swaim, a former player, he may recognize his voice.
Liner to right, and that's trouble. Into the corner it goes. Braun headed for third. Ross is up with it, and they'll hold him there. Casey McGee has a double, and the Milwaukee Brewer Roadshow is in full swing here in South Florida. Better on the road, and right now up 3-0 and threatening.
What an inside-out swing. Look at how long he lets that ball get to here, into the plate. He doesn't hit it out in front of the plate. He lets it come to him and then shoots it down that right field corner. So McGee with a big double, and all of a sudden the Brewers are in business again.
And the guy that has meant business the last 4 games is up, Corey Hart. Big swing and a miss. He's got 4 home runs in his last 4 games, 10 home runs in his last 16 games. A solo homer in the 2nd. Robertson struck him out in the 4th. Braun a walk, McGee a double. Hart a little tapper towards third. Cantu thought about home, goes to first, gets the out, and a good heads-up play by Casey McGee, who scampers into third base. And the Brewers pick up another run.
Yeah, that little tapper accomplished a lot of things. It got the run in, and then you're right, heads up on McGee's part. He waited until Cantu threw the ball, so it got the run in, and that little tapper also got the runner over to third with less than 2 out.
Now the Marlins bring their infield in. Escobar. We've seen the Brewers bunt twice in this ball game. Escobar 0 for 2. Robertson struck him out in the 4th.
And
2-1. Boy, it's 6-0 Atlanta over Philadelphia in the 5th. Marlins and Phillies are like mirror images of each other offensively right now.
Yeah, what, the Phillies 5 of 8? They've been shut out 5 of the last 8 games.
Phillies have 2 hits in that game. The Marlins have 2 hits in this game. Robertson loses Escobar. Here comes Kataris.
I think if this were a right-handed hitter, we'd see relief help.
Fan balloting underway for the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. And you can help the Marlins get there. Vote online at Marlins.com. It's your chance to win a suite for 12 and an autographed All-Star poster. Or vote at the stadium during any upcoming game for a chance to win a trip to the All-Star Game.
Read a note where Ryan Braun is leading all outfielders in fan balloting.
He's been an All-Star starter the last 2 years.
And certainly deserves it again this year. Yeah, I think if there was a right-handed hitter coming up, we would probably see the bullpen brought in, a righty. But with lefty-lefty, Freddie stays with Nate Robertson.
Kataris is 1 for 2. He has singled and struck out.
And the pitcher on deck. But Narvison's a pretty good hitter.
Robertson, 81 pitches now. Look at Kataris. He's out of Ontario, California. Went to junior college in Oklahoma. Tim Wakefield's catcher last year with the Boston Red Sox.
Played for the Greek Olympic team in 2004. And all of a sudden, after being sharp in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, this is not the case for Nate here in this inning.
Breaking ball gets him a strike, and it's 2-1.
The old get me over breaking ball doesn't have to be a good one because Kataris no way was looking for that. 2-0.
All 3 of his strikeouts came in the 4th inning. Both of his walks have come here in the 6th inning. And the Brewers have 8 hits and 4 runs. The Marlins, without a run, have 2 hits. Three and one. Well, the puzzling question will be is if he walks Kataris, and you got Narvis, the pitcher coming up, who's left-handed. Yeah, it's lefty-lefty, but Robertson can't throw strikes right now.
Yeah, I think you have to get him out, especially with bases loaded, even with Narvison being a left-handed hitter. And it looks like that's what Freddie's going to do. He wanted to make sure the bullpen is ready. He'll probably bring Tim Wood in this situation.
Wood and Sosa are ready to go, and here comes Freddie. And it's going to be Sosa coming in. Maroon, he called to the pen. On Veterans Day, if you'd like to give back, welcomebackveterans.org is the site. Here in South Florida, it's been all Milwaukee Brewers. 4-0. Bases are loaded with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Jorge Sosa comes into the ballgame for the Fish. Sosa's numbers in AAA.
Yeah, Sosa had a couple of nice innings the other night against the Phillies. 2 1-2-3 innings. Through the changeup with success.
Now he does get to face the pitcher, but as we pointed out, Narveson is a good hitting pitcher, at least this year he is. He's 5 for 12. Middle infield is back for 2. On a day where the Marlin bats have been very quiet, Sosa would love to keep it at 4-0. A liner to Ugla, throws to first, and he got him at first. A double play. How about that? 1 pitch, 2 outs, 4-3. Kataris is caught. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Ball game. Nice scoop by Gabby. The throw right into the runner. Watch this. And Fox Exmo.
And a good call by the first base ump, Chad Fairchild. Not good base running by George Kataris, the runner. Had that play in front of him, but a heads-up play by Dan Ugla to see that and get the throw over there quickly.
Now the question is, can the Marlins solve Chris Narveson? Because so far, he has been an absolute mystery. Top of the order, 3rd time through, the Marlins have managed just 2 singles. The Ugla infield single and the jam shot single by Paulino. Eight strikeouts for Narveson. 1 walk. And he misses to Coughlin.
Yeah, we mentioned his career high in strikeouts is 10, so he's just a couple away from that.
There's a liner in the left field, a base hit. Coughlin had hit it hard twice in this game and had 0 for 2 to show for it. And he bangs one to the left.
We talked about that in the ballgame yesterday. Chris had a base hit, but two of the other 3 times he hit the ball on the nose. Remember that ball he hit directly back to Moyer, and then he lined out to left. So you're gradually seeing the good swings and the solid at-bats every time he goes up there.
I think that's got to be at the top of the Marlins list right now. Get good at-bats, get deep into counts. Because the Brewers' bullpen, as we've talked about, has been awful this year. Trevor Hoffman at the back of the pen has had a real rough year.
And he's been moved out of that position at the back of the pen.
Gabby goes after that changeup, and Narveson's out in front 0-2. There's that Brewers bullpen.
Now, we talked about the Marlins offense. The last 3+ games now, counting what we've seen here, Marlins have 16 hits, but only 2 extra base hits during that time. Doubles by Dan Uggla and Hanley.
Gabby sends it to right field. Corey Hart over and makes the catch. So there's one out. Time for the Coors Light freeze can. Watch the shadow of the ball painting the black. Look at that. It's right on the edge. How cool is that?
Yeah, that was also a great changeup.
Frost Brew Coors Light freeze can. Little Fox Expo for you. Hanley now. Hanley is 0 for 2. He did reach on an error in the 4th, but then got picked off first. Fritz Fielder over for a look.
Rich, we've been kind of keeping an eye, and we mentioned it yesterday. The rookie catcher / first baseman, Buster Posey, another 3-hit game for the Giants. The Giants just trying to get something going offensively.
That sounds familiar. Coughlin at first with an out.
Kind of a frustrating situation. We've talked about Mike Stanton. All Marlins fans have heard the name and having a great year at AA. And it's a catch-22. You know, when he comes up, and he will be coming up, you'd like him to come up to a club that's, you know, moving forward, getting runs, scoring, not having any trouble.
Not in a situation where the pressure is on him.
Yeah, because then he can just kind of fit in, settle in. What you don't want to see is, okay, call up Mike Stanton, and he's going to be the savior to the offense, and that puts a lot of pressure on a 20-year-old kid. So we'll see what happens. Time will tell.
Two pitches up. What you hope is that when you add a bat like Stanton to the lineup, that it sparks something, that the guys around him, if Stanton has success, benefit from that success. Full count, 1 out. Hanley waiting. Tries it to left field. Braun won't get it. Off the wall it goes. Coughlin headed for third. They're going to hold him up. And the throw comes to the plate, and Hanley stops at second.
I think a pretty good choice and decision by Joe Espada, who we've seen be pretty aggressive this year. But you know what? He knows the score. This ball just stroked by Hanley Ramirez, talking about the lack of extra base hits in the club. Hanley with a nice swing. No chance for anybody in that outfield, but it got out there so fast. And a good pick off the wall, a good strong throw back to the relay man. Coughlin thinking scoring, but he saw the red light put up by Joe Espada, and a good decision because you have 1 out, you're down by 4, and they had a play at the plate if he goes.
Absolutely. And here's the big at bat with Cantu. And it's 0-1. Cantu has struck out twice. He's the guy in the Marlins lineup, believe it or not, that has struggled the most against Narveson. Ground ball in the hole at short. Escobar's throw in time. Run scores. Hanley still at second. And it's 4-1. Cantu picks up his 37th RBI. And Uggla, who is 1 for 2, comes up. Obviously, great speed with Hanley at second. Narveson misses inside. He's cruising along. Is Narveson. He's at 98 pitches. But Carlos Villanueva, one of the guys that's had success in the Milwaukee pen, getting ready.
Yeah, not too many low ERAs out there, but Villanueva has one of them.
Let's see if Ugla gets a fastball here on 2-0. Nope. Change up, and now it's 3-0.
Speaking of pitching woes, you have to have the horses, because one of the moves the Brewers made was bringing in, for his first year as their pitching coach, Rick Peterson. Long time with the Mets, very successful.
Ugla walks. And now Cody Roth, and he's had 2 tough at-bats against Narveson. He's struck out twice.
Decision time for Ken Maka, but I think he's thinking about those strikeouts and the way Narveson has pitched Cody. But he's got the right-hander ready. Here's his decision. He'd rather have the righty go after Cody Roth.
It's an interesting decision.
Let's see, I don't know if he's actually made the move yet. I don't know if I saw him point.
He may come out and ask his lefty, how do you feel about facing Ross? He's handled him pretty well.
Yes, he has. And that's the answer he got. So he's going to go with his left-hander as opposed to the righty being away.
As you pointed out, Ross this year has improved against lefties. Came in hitting at .314. However, Narveson has had his number. He has struck him out twice. Hanley and Ugla. Marlins are down 3 in the 6th. And that curveball in particular has given Ross fits.
Yeah, he just drops in that big curveball. Seems like he can throw that curveball anytime he wants for a strike.
Fastball, Ross got it left field. That's deep. That is gone! Tie game!
He couldn't sneak the fastball by Cody. Bad decision this time for Ken Maka. He'd like to do it over again. After seeing high fastball after high fastball, it took the 3rd time around for Cody Ross, but he put a charge into that pitch from Narveson.
I'm stunned he threw him a fastball. They've been breaking ball to strike Cody out.
And he even has that changeup as a weapon. That's what he struck Cody out on last time. We showed you that on Fox Exmo. But the fastball, Cody can handle.
Here is Paulino.
Boy, is that good to see. Last home run the Marlins hit was the 2nd game of the Atlanta series.
Paulino cranks one left field. That ball's deep. That ball's off the top of the wall. And Ronnie Paulino races in with a double. And this may be the end of the line for Narveson.
Wow, I'm really surprised he even was in there to pitch to Paulino.
The Ross home run, the first home run that a Brewers starting pitcher has given up in 15 games. They had a club record streak going until Cody pumped one out. Paulino just missed, hitting his 4th of the season. And Narveson is on his way out. Villanueva's coming in. Marlins feeling a lot better about a 4-4 game. Marooney called to the pen.
and looking for that long ball, but that was his 34th hit this month, and that's a career high for him in any month.
Here is Villanueva. Carlos Villanueva has been the Clay Hensley of the Brewers bullpen. He misses up high. The Brewers have had success with Villanueva's 8th inning work, but they have not had good results in the 9th inning.
Yeah, he's got good stuff. He's a guy that has started at times, has all 4 pitches. And you're right, he's been their Clay Hensley.
And here he is in the 6th inning.
But he is no Clay Hensley.
No, he's not.
Let me make that loud and clear.
Misses outside to Maben, and it's 2-0 for Narveson. He was cruising along. And one fastball to Cody Ross. And just like that, it's a 4-4 game, and Paulino's out in scoring position for Maben. And Villanueva hasn't come close in his 3 pitches.
Let me just tell you, Clay Hensley's ERA is 1.30, 27 2/3 innings pitched, 9 walks, 35 strikeouts.
Look at Sosa on deck. He's like, yeah, right. I'm really going to hit. He's got the helmet, the bat. He's even got his batting gloves on.
There's no way they could be his batting gloves. Maybe, though. He, at one time, he's been a starter.
And he's been a decent hitter.
Yeah.
"3-1 coming to Maben. Changeup, a 3-1 changeup, and it's 3-2.
Well, I think a lot of that because first base is open. And if it gets to Sosa, Brian Sanchez is getting loose.
Marlins have a lot of options as far as pinch hitters go. Now the 3-2. Breaking ball. Oh, goodness. Villanueva thought it was a strike. Maben trots down to first. And Mike Lamb emerges from the dugout. The Marlins are going to eventually go to the bullpen. Let's look on Fox Tracks, and that was a strike, Tommy.
Yeah, that was a pretty good pitch.
There was no question about that.
And probably Kataris is talking to Villanueva about that. Yeah, I think this is a time you go with the left-handed bat of Mike Lamb because you know you're going to get a matchup in your favor. He's going to be facing the right-handed pitcher.
Lamb's last 2 at-bats have both been pretty good. Remember, he had a pinch-hitting appearance against Roy Halladay in the 9th inning and hit one to the warning track in center field. His next pinch-hitting appearance, he had a line smash at second. So he's barreled a couple up. That may have been a little bit of a makeup call. That breaking ball looked like it was up and in. He has homered against Villanueva.
Mike Lamb thinking to himself, hey, you made that call against Maben, not me.
Paulino at second, Maben at first. You've got the speed of the 2 runners as the trail runner. So a base hit doesn't necessarily score Paulino for sure, though he will, with 2 outs, be moving on contact. There's Rick Peterson sitting next to Ken Maka. You can see Maka not happy right now. And
he's upset at himself.
Yeah, he's kicking himself.
Yeah, he is.
For not getting Villanueva to face Ross. Liner to center field, base hit. Here comes Paulino. Here comes Gomez throw. He is in there. 5-4 finish.
Nice stroke. It hit softly enough by Mike Lamb. A little bit off the end of the bat. It was charged well by Gomez in center field. With 2 out, Ronnie got a nice jump. And put on a little extra to score. There it is off the end of the bat. If that's hit sharply into center, it's a lot tougher for Ronnie to score. Good charge by Gomez. Here comes Ronnie in a nice slide. He has to come around the outside once he saw Kataris go in front of the plate.
Now it's Coghlan with runners at the corners. Lamb at first. Maven smartly took third on the play. Coghlan opened the inning with a single. That was against Narveson. And Chris takes inside. Well, the Marlins have been able to extricate Narveson from the game and get into the Brewers bullpen. And we said from the outset that has been the weak spot for the Brewers. It is 3 o'clock and all through baseball, everyone is pausing on Memorial Day for a moment of silence, and we will stand and join them.
For one brief moment, hear the silence fill the air. Think of those who walked beside us, now no longer there. Make us humble, make us knowing and accepting what is done on this day for all the fallen. Make this nation
On Memorial Day in South Florida, Marlins and Brewers.
And Rich, I think it's fitting that Chris Coghlan is the hitter right here.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Coghlan takes a strike, a changeup. Of course, Coghlan's brother serving over in Iraq. Chris, one of the Marlins who went over, the first major league team to go over in Iraq and Kuwait. Coghlan and John Baker, Freddie Gonzalez, Larry Beinfest, among others. 1-1 pitch. Coghlan hammers it into right field. That's a base hit. And it gets to the wall. Here comes Lamb to third. He's going to score. Coghlan racing around. He'll end up at third. Marlins get 2 more. And Chris Coghlan has a pair of hits here in the 6th.
Like I said, it's only fitting that Chris Coghlan was the hitter in that situation. What a stroke. He crushes this ball. It's going to be a triple because that ball skipped by the right fielder, Corey Hart. He really never had a chance to get to it, never got a glove on it. So a 3-base hit, 2 RBIs, that is huge.
The Marlins have put 7 runs up here in the 6th inning.
The Phillies are looking at things going on in South Florida saying, there is hope. There is hope.
The Phillies are still down 6-0 in Atlanta. Gabby's 0 for 3. Ball in the dirt. Well, you look at Coghlan's day yesterday, and he was 1 for 4. Twice he hit line drive outs. Friday night he was 1 for 3. Obviously Saturday everybody was shut down by Halladay. Three 3-0 to Gabby. And Ken Maka certainly is still beating himself up over staying with Narveson.
I think he is, but if you, and I'm sure there would be Brewer fans second guessing him, but Brewer fans would also know the state of his bullpen. And that's why he wanted to stay with Narveson, who was throwing pretty well.
Yeah, and then had a manageable pitch count if he could just get through the 6th. Gabby pulls it, and it's foul.
Marlins have hit for the cycle in this inning.
Got a couple of doubles. Paulito and Hanley. The homer by Cody. The triple by Coghlan.
most runs in any inning so far this season.
Jim Presley. Big pinch hit by Mike Lamb in this one.
And you're right about Lamb. The last couple of times he'd hit the ball well.
Villanueva strikes out Gabby Sanchez, but not before the Marlins put 7 big ones up on the board. Cody Ross ties it with one swing, and the Fish took it from there. Just like that, Cody Ross goes deep. Marlins get big hits from Mike Lamb and Chris Coughlin. And now the bullpen is handed over a 3-run lead in the 7th inning against a very good hitting team, this Brewer team. Top of the order, Weeks, Gomez, and Fielder. It's Brian Sanchez first out of the pen.
Yeah, the other thing nice about all those runs, 6 of the 7 runs came with 2 out.
Sanchez throws a strike to Weeks.
This is that ever elusive 7th inning that the Marlins have struggled with at times. Right now it seems like Freddie has the 8th and 9th innings taken care of. This is an important inning here.
8th inning in this ball game. Clay Hensley is available, at least around game time. Freddie thought so, but with a little bit of caution. He was all over that breaking ball. Coughlin races in and makes the catch. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you, Rich. Salute to Champions Week here at Sun Life Stadium. And the champs here, Miami-Dade Junior College. They won for the first time in their 18-year softball history. Anyhow, Carlos Carra's team won the championship. You went 5-0 in Utah. Congratulations. Give yourselves a hand out here, you guys. And tell us about your team there, Coach. How big was this for your team?
Of course, it's the biggest thing that you can ever imagine. It's a dream come true. We worked since September. We set it as a goal, and we accomplished it at the national championship. We were the best one out there playing the ball game. We outscored our opponents 14-11, and we won without any doubts that we were the best team out there with 5-0.
National champions Erica Bennett, MVP, went 5-0 in the playoffs. She was 26-2 with a 0.79 ERA in the regular season. Was there any moment you doubted you guys were going to win the championship?
No, I knew we were going to win it. We took it. We were confident. We had everything together, and we just worked, and we got it.
What was it about this team chemistry this year? I mean, 18 years, you've had great baseball teams in Miami-Dade, but this is the first time you won the championship in college softball.
Yeah, well, you know, this chemistry, we were always together. We were always pumping each other up, and we never gave up on each other, and we were a family.
And you see this trophy? Hold it up there. And Nicole, what do you want to say?
Craig and, Tommy, and can you poke your head out?
Rich and Tommy, they want to see you. We're in the booth to your right. We're just over here.
Hey, guys.
What about Cookie and Raul?
Cookie and Raul are a little bit over there. All right, guys, congratulations. Miami-Dade Junior College National Champions. What a great trophy, too.
What a nice pitch by Brian Sanchez. A fastball on the inside corner. A lot of news going on about local colleges, and especially one hitter in particular. Garrett Whittle's 54-hit streak, and he will get to play the NCAA tournament because Florida International has won the Sun Belt Conference title. He's hitting .412 with a couple of homers.
There were some questions whether FIU would continue on, and I just heard they did get a bid to go to the regional in Miami. So he will get more games to try to continue that streak this year.
Here's Prince Fielder.
I think this could be a situation, Rich, if there's some question as to if Clay Hensley is available, if Freddie would like to give him one more day. I think this would be a game if Brian has a nice inning, he could go back out there with him, or we could see somebody else in the 8th inning.
That one fouled back to the screen. Hensley has worked in 3 of the last 4 Marlin games, and in the game in which he didn't work, he got up and warmed up.
That's the part that a lot of people don't realize. You say, okay, this guy was in a game, but there are a lot of times we see those guys throwing in the bullpen, and they don't get in the game, and that takes just as much out of you at times.
Two. JM Lexus presents our league leaders on base percentage. Prince Fielder always up there, very selective hitter. 429 is the hammer. JM Lexus, price made us #1, 18 years running. Click jmlexus.com.
We're talking about the kind of year that he had. He always has that on-base percentage up there. He was 4th in MVP voting last year.
Cantu makes the catch. Brian Sanchez, a 1-2-3, 7th. Nicely done. And the bottom of the 7th rolls around. number up on the board right now. And then you could tell Clay, you know what, Clay, why don't you take the 8th inning off?
But again, he's down there warming up and throwing.
Yep. Hanley doubled in the 6th. That followed the Coughlin single. Breaking ball, chopper to third. McGee. And out here in the bottom of the 7th. Jiffy Lube Marlins Fiesta Friday on the 18th at 7:10. Marlins and Rays. You can get the 4 for $54 or the all-you-can-eat seats. Play Billy Bingo. 4,000 winners get a Marlins Mermaid swimsuit calendar. Always a popular item. 1-877-Marlins. Cantu 0 for 3. He drove in a run in that 6th inning with a ground ball out.
That was the first run of the inning, and then everything after that came with 2 out.
Gets into that one to center field. Gomez makes a catch. Here comes Uggla now. Marlins were getting shut out by Chris Narveson through 5 innings. Got on the board with the Cantu grounder. Uggla walked after Cantu's ground ball. That was the 2nd out of the inning. Narveson went out in front of Cody Ross 0-1. Threw him a breaking ball to get that first strike, and then he tried to sneak a fastball by him, and Cody hit it out.
It's amazing how that walk can be a small thing, but an important thing in the inning. It was in the game yesterday, the walk to Hanley, and he stole a base. There was that line drive double play, but then Hanley came in to score on Paulino's base hit, the only run of the game.
And if you want to take that one step further, in that inning, it was Uggla's walk after Cantu had lined into that double play that brought Paulino to the plate. Dan's on base percentage has been healthy all season long. He's right around 365. Foul ball. And that's the thing with Uggla. If he can keep his on base percentage at 350, 360, his slugging percentage has been up this year. Very similar to last season, where he nearly walked 100 times. Suddenly, the strikeouts don't seem as painful. He punched out 150 times last year, but he walked 92 times.
And that's a progression we've seen go upward every year, the walks, ever since his rookie year in 06.
Breaking ball, 3-2. Ross is next. Marco Estrada, third to work for the Brewers.
There's an example of the Estrada changeup that he has. Not expecting it. See, there's another thing that Dan Uggla's improved on. There's a 3-2 changeup. Maybe a couple of years ago, we see a wild swing and a strikeout. He was able to just hang in there and get a piece of it.
Down low, Uggla walks again. I think in talking to Dan, he's confirmed this. What he's found is the more selective he gets, the better pitches he gets to hit. Because then pitchers realize that they have to throw strikes to get him out in most cases.
With him being on base 3 times today, his on base percentage now 369.
breaking ball, a strike. It's 1-1. Fastball, and he fouls it back. So Cody's day, 2 strikeouts and 1 blast.
Everybody will forget about those strikeouts with that 1 blast, though.
It's outside. You know, we saw Clay Hensley get up to start to throw. And Tim Wood is up in the pen.
Yeah, I don't know what to take of that. I could think negatively and think that with a few pitches that Clay threw, he didn't like the way he felt, or he's ready. And Tim Wood's just getting his work. He's there. It looks like he's ready to come in the game.
He looks like he's ready for a shift change in hockey.
Yeah, he's ready to jump over the boards. So I'm looking at it on a positive side and saying he just got ready. Didn't take him long. Got the glove on the railing. He's ready to go.
That's one of the things you learn, and he's talked about it in that role, is you learn to warm up quickly and not throw a lot. Uggla's on the move on the 2-2 pitch. And Billy Wagner told us that the other day, and how it wasn't until midway later in his career he figured out that you get so much nervous energy as a reliever that to work it off, you keep throwing. And if it's a long inning, you end up throwing 25, 30, 35 pitches.
And you know you're going to run out to the mound. That'll keep you loose. You're going to have your warm-up tosses.
Get 8 of those. Ross into the gap. Let's see if Uggla can score. Danny round second. It's cut off by Gomez. They're going to send him. Here comes Uggla. Here comes a throw. He is safe. He got around the tag. What a slide by Uggla. Oh, terrific work by Dan Uggla and Joe Espada, the third base coach.
Boy, good play by the Brewers to cut this ball off, but even better base running by Dan Uggla. Look at the hand. The tag is not applied, and he got the hand on the base. And the home plate umpire, Bill Miller, made the call right away. Sometimes if you don't touch that plate, and he may not have touched the plate.
I don't think he touched the plate. Here is Fox Exmo. He's around the tag. No question there. Oh!
His head's in the way. Bill Miller's head.
I don't think he touched the plate.
Well, the only decision and the only guy that counts is Bill Miller, the home plate umpire. A lot of times you'll see an umpire not make the call, and then the catcher will go back to tag you, or you'll try to go back and touch the plate.
8-4.
I think Dan knows he didn't touch the plate because it looked like he was trying to reach back.
Here's another look. And this view is blocked by Uggla's head. It still doesn't look like he... You know, as an umpire, you're looking at it in real time, and you don't get all the looks.
The double anyway by Cody, and he goes over to third on the throw. I wonder if this changes the Clay Hensley saga with the Marlins now having a 4-run lead.
It might.
Cody Ross with 4 RBIs today.
Paulino cranks one down the left field line. That's going to score a run. And Ronnie rumbles into second with another double.
I think this for sure will change the situation in the bullpen with Clay Hensley. And once again, Ronnie Paulino, good swings. This time another base hit off the right-hander. Ronnie's third base hit today. It has a couple of doubles. How about against the Phillies in that series? The Marlins were 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Of course, that only is for 2 games. They didn't get anybody in scoring position. The one today, 4 for 7 runners in scoring position.
Here is Maben. Drives one left center. Gomez won't get it. It's going to go to the wall. Off to the races is Maben. Ball's in the triangle. Cameron headed to third. Cameron coming home. They're going to send him. Here's the throw. Inside the park. Cameron Maben.
Nothing more exciting than an inside the park home run. You got to have the speed to do it. Cameron Maben does. And he got faster once he got around third base. Boy, this ball is stunning. It really fooled the center fielder, Carlos Gomez. He didn't get there. Bad route. Didn't cut it off at the pass. Once it got into that triangle and kicked around a little bit, Cameron Maben turned it on. Here he goes. Now he picks up Joe Espada. Joe said, go ahead and go for it. Throw a little offline, and Cameron with the inside the Parker.
(11-4). Greg Carroll is up, and he swings and misses. Well, we told you that the Brewers' bullpen was vulnerable. And the Marlins have put another crooked number up. The last inside the park home run for the Marlins was opening day of last year. Emilio Bonifacio. BC takes it inside. Boy, a couple exciting plays at the plate. The Uggla slide, the Maben inside the park homer. And Brett Carroll swings and misses at a changeup. 4 big runs for the Fish. 11-4. So it is Tim Wood that comes out of the bullpen. Little tapper. Cantu cuts it off and gets Braun out by a step.
Yeah, 1 pitch, 1 out. Good job for Tim Wood. We saw him warming up even when Clay Hensley was thought to be coming in the game. But once the Marlins put up the crooked number, got 4 more runs, Tim Wood got himself ready, and here he is. It's a good opportunity for him to try to get that ERA down a little bit.
This is one of those, it's going to be one of these odd decisions in terms of wins and losses. The win is going to go if the Marlins hold this lead.
It's amazing.
So Jorge Sosa, who threw 1 pitch.
Remember, he threw that pitch and got the double play.
Yeah.
And that's it.
He's in line for the win. Wood has thrown 2 pitches and has 2 outs.
Well, there are a lot of things that we can look back on in this game. The way the Marlins opened things up in the 6th inning. The decision by Ken Maka to have his left-hander pitch to Cody Ross. Cody with the 3-run homer. Big base hit by Mike Lamb, the pinch hitter. That put the Marlins ahead. Cody's home run tied the game.
Remember, Corey Hart uncorked one to left. So the Marlins in this ball game have hit 2 home runs. The Ross homer and the Maben inside the Parker. Should be playable. Gabby on the move makes the catch. Nice and tidy. 5-pitch inning by Tim Wood. Rocking and rolling are the Fish on this Memorial Day. That's some serious work by the world's most dangerous tape room. 11-4. Did you hear the back cracks line up just with the music there?
It's amazing.
11-4. Fish on top. Chris Coughlin is up.
I was in that tape room the other day. It's dangerous in there. It is.
Jeff Suppan is in the ball game, and here's a guy that the Brewers are trying to get straightened out. Chris Coughlin has hit the ball hard 4 times. He is 2 for 4. And he takes a pitch down low. A 2-run triple. Singleton scored. He's bounced out and lined out. $13 million is what Jeff Suppan is making this year. And here's the season that he's had.
And they had hoped that he would be in the rotation and not pitching out of the bullpen.
Coughlin a roller. McGee a sprawling stop.
He still has to throw in one of those. That could be a base hit. Still hit the ball hard again. Would have taken a spectacular play by McGee to get him.
Here's another look. Now he has to make a sprawling, spinning pick.
Pick up the target, make a perfect throw.
Base hit.
Nice going. I concur.
You're like the Surgeon General. Coughlin's going to take third. And he's in there with a head-first dive, and the ball gets thrown away, and the Brewers are really kicking it around. It's going to be a base hit and an E8.
I tell you what, Ken Maka can't be real happy with Carlos Gomez today either in center field.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for Suppan, the Major League veteran.
There's a shot right off the mound, skipped high in the air. I think Gomez, number one, once he booted the ball, that's when Chris Coughlin decided to go to third, and then he airmailed it, almost threw it out of the ballpark.
Hanley's up now. Suppan throws in a strike. Yeah, they signed Suppan to a long-term deal, sort of as an anchor to a young rotation. McGee streaking across the infield, throws Hanley out. And Suppan, of course, has been such a durable starter. He had not pitched in relief since 2003 when he was with Boston. Cantu now. Breaking ball. Jorge drills it into right field.
What a nice swing.
Coughlin will score. Gabby's right behind him, and Cantu picks up 2 RBIs. He's driven in 3, and the Marlins have busted out in a big way.
Well, they've tied their season high now. 13 runs. Remember the 13 runs in that game at U.S. Cellular Field against the White Sox. What a nice bit of hitting. Look at this. Here's the slow ball, breaking ball, big slow hook. Jorge stays back and just drills it into right field. 39 RBIs now for Jorge Cantu.
Suppan is a veteran of 16 Major League seasons. Had a rough year last year, was 7-12 with an ERA of over 5.
When in the 6th and 7th innings, the Marlins had 7 extra base hits.
Uggla drives one foul. Well, remember the soundbite between Jorge Cantu and Dave Collins. It was a remnant from the other night when we had Cantu all mic'd up. And they were talking about Coughlin, and Cantu said, man, when he gets going, we're just going to take off.
It just sets the stage at the top of the order, and that's what has been lacking with Chris's struggles.
Broken bat, McGee. Out there, Weeks' turn. Out there. And the inning is over. Marlins get 2 more. May ends today. 13-4, Marlins on top of Milwaukee.
It looks like it's going to end on a pretty good note.
A much different note than last year when the Marlins had just an awful May.
Last year the Marlins, won nine games in May.
Tim Wood, Cantu picks it and then throws high. Now City's Escobar is aboard. That's an E5. Our Toyota Trend. Last season, the Brewers won 4 of the 7 meetings, but the Marlins won 3 of 4 here in South Florida and lead the all-time series 47-34. And if you want to take that one step further, since 2005, the Marlins have won 13 of the last 16 here. So, if they win this game, that's 14 of the last 17. Here is Kataris. And Gabby throws that one into left field. And the Marlins get sloppy here and commit 2 errors to open up the 9th.
I think he was thinking double play instead of just thinking get outs. He had a chance just to get the out at first base. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to get the out at second, get the lead run, even though he's close to the bag. He didn't have a real good angle, and he had to throw it over the head of Escobar, and it turned out going over the head of Hanley, too.
Adam Stern is going to pinch hit.
Yeah, Stern just got called up from AAA. He may be the odd guy out when Jim Edmonds is activated from the disabled list. Got another veteran that's on the DL, veteran outfielder, Jody Garrett. Left-handed hitters on the disabled list.
We told you earlier, Doug Davis is there. LaTroy Hawkins on the DL. One of their young prospects, Matt Gamble, is on the 60-day DL. He tore a muscle in his shoulder. I believe he's the guy they got in the CC Sabathia trade from Cleveland. Jay Bente, Taylor Tankersley. Chopper, Hanley at the bag. Got one there. And then throws it away. But no one's going to score, so I don't think that'll be an error.
Yeah, no one's going to score. No one's going to advance. Hanley saw that that play was going to be close. Stern got up the line quickly. Tried to throw it a little bit too hard. He has to wait for it to get there, and then once he got it, Stern, pretty good speed, and misfired with the throw. But yeah, no one advanced. You can't anticipate the double play, so no error on that.
Let me step back on Gamble. He was not involved in a trade with the Indians. Bishop Kenny High School, Chipola Junior College. We saw him last year. Gamble, a third baseman for the Brewers. And one of their top prospects, guy that's had some big years in the minor leagues coming up. Weeks here in the 9th. Wood gets a strike. It's 1-2. The errors by the Marlins. The last couple of weeks, the Marlins have had a very nice run defensively.
Everything in this game, be it defense, hitting, pitching, kind of gets contagious, good or bad.
Cantu, that's a tough play. That's going to be a base hit. There's no way, even if he fields that cleanly with his bare hand, he doesn't throw out Weeks, who runs it very well.
Yeah, and that's why he tried to field it with the bare hand. That's a great shot. You get that hand open, try to clutch it in the palm, get the grip, and Jorge Cantu just couldn't come up with that one.
Gomez now. Wood buries a fastball, 1-0. Almost over in Atlanta, where the Braves have a 9-3 lead in the 8th.
The Braves will take over first place with their win today. They'll be a half game ahead of the Phillies.
Two and two.
The Marlins with a win today will get back to 500.
And pull within 3.5 games of first. Two and two still. Nate Robertson, Jorge Sosa. And Tim Wood. Those have been the three chuckers for the Fish. Don't want to leave out Brian Sanchez.
You throw Brian Sanchez in the mix, and it's been a nice mix.
To left and deep, Coughlin at the track. Now there are 2 outs.
I think a base hit there, another run, had the bases been loaded. I think we may have seen Taylor Tankersley. Tank was warming up. He's still down there. But really, if you look at this lineup, a lot of right-handed bats, Braun, McGee, Hart. The one main guy that Taylor Tankersley is going to see in this series is going to be Prince Fielder.
Wood gets to face him. Fielder takes a strike. He is 1 for 4. High chopper, Gabby has it, and the Marlins are going to win this one with an avalanche of runs that started in the 6th and continued through the 7th and the 8th. The big blow, Cody Ross's 3-run homer to tie the game. The electric one, Cameron Maben's inside the park home run. Three relievers work. In relief of Nate Robertson, Jorge Sosa is going to get the W. We'll wrap it up after this.